The truth about being single. So there are 4 questions that singles are always asked, and here is a response that I've come up with that's worked for me, you know. So I highly suggest you using them. You don't even have to tell people that you got the idea from me. Number 1 question that singles are asked is, when are you planning on getting married? Response: I don't know. But actually, have you prayed that I meet somebody that I vibe with, that I'm spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally connected to, that we actually make each other better? Have you actually prayed for that? Oh, you haven't? Oh, maybe you should add that to your prayer list. The second question that we are usually asked is, you're not getting younger, so when do you plan on having kids? I don't know. But have you prayed that I have a healthy pregnancy? Have you prayed that I'm actually, you know, able to carry, that everything is in alignment, that my baby's actually healthy and, you know, blessed and mentally, physically, emotionally, like, capable to withstand anything that comes their way? You know, have you prayed that my children are leaders? You know, have you actually prayed over my family, or are you just being nosy? Oh, okay. So with people like that, it's like, you're not going to even give me a baby shower gift. So why are you really concerned, or are you just nosy? This is not, you know, tied to the response, but it's just something to think about. Be conscious of who's asking you the question. And, you know, are they really, you know, rooting for your uprise, or are they just being nosy? That's number 2. The third question is, are you putting yourself out there enough? Usually that's the question. Your response: no. Because desperation and thirstiness are not cute accessories on me. You know, I don't have to date everybody that says you cute to find one guy, you know. So with people that ask you those questions, thirst was probably their best friend, you know, and it probably worked for them. You know, they probably ended up marrying a dude they kept chasing after. But that doesn't have to be your story, you know. If being on every single dating site in America is not your thing, don't be forced into it or tied into it. Just because every single one of your friends have gotten married or been in a relationship doesn't mean this is the season that you're supposed to be in a relationship. The 4th question that we are always asked is, does it bother you that most of your friends are married? Your response: nope. It just means that God is blessing my circle. And I try not to let envy and jealousy into any of my relationships. That answer right there would probably shut down the nation, because there's no way you can respond to that. You know, nobody likes comparison. You know, even if you turn the tables on them, they would hate if you ask them a comparison type question. This is critical. You got to smile after every time you answer with their response. You got to hit them with a smile, because you know, when there's a smile and you just, you know, threw a little shade, aka answered it, you know, you had a real good answer that they didn't expect, you got to hit them with a smile. Like, no. Every time. It works every time, I'm telling you. Another thing, 2 things to remember that's super, super important. Number 1, it is okay to defend the season that you're in. Maybe you don't have, you know, news about a ring or news about a baby, but talk about the other great things that's going on in your life, you know, that have made you happy, that you've worked very hard on. You know, you might have got an award at work. You might have started an organization. Maybe you're the leader in your small group or whatever. Those things are worth celebrating, and those things are worth talking about. But if nobody knows that you're doing those things, sometimes people are just trying to start a conversation or fill in time because they don't got nothing else to ask you about, because they don't know what you're working on. Don't expect for your family members, your friends, people that follow you, or even past classmates or church members or whatever, to know what you're doing in your life. So switch the conversation around. Have stuff to talk about. And when you do, you know, and that's the great thing about being single, is you get to accumulate stories. You get to accumulate experiences. You get to accumulate moments that you can have conversations about. So when people ask you all these random questions, you be like, nope, but I just went to France. Let me tell you about France. You know, nope, but I just published a #1 best-selling book. Let me tell you about that experience, honey. That was a plug a little bit. Anyway, you get to talk about other stuff besides your relationship status, because it's so funny. When people are married, nobody is sitting around. So what's going on in your marriage? Nobody asks that. Like, they be like, girl, how you wife? Oh, okay, he good. Oh, okay. And they move on. It'd be so quick. But nobody's going into details of every single thing of somebody's life, when they married. So as singles, you got to turn the tables real quick and switch the subject, because who wants to sit around and talk about that all day? The second thing to remember is being happy is so much cuter than being thirsty. You're too amazing to be thirsty. You are chosen, you are called, you are heir of the promise. You are God's best idea. When he thinks about you, he smiles. So being thirsty is not even in your DNA. So no need to be thirsty, girl, at all. But seriously though, I actually wrote about this in my singleness chapter in my book, Never Ask for Permission Again. So make sure you grab a copy. If you want an autographed copy, just email me at logan@loganrenee.com, and I will see you all in the next video. But make sure you all subscribe.